Ray Kurzweil said, "We have the information needed to have a human utopia, but we're led by the least noble, most greedy people."
Welcome back to the channel, everyone. I have a comment. Moonsaw, check out Gaming's Vote new video about Tekken 8. I went on YouTube, I typed it up, I found the video. 10 things we don't want in Tekken 8. I watched this whole video through already, and some of the things that they were saying or talking about is things that everyone says. Like, they spent a lot of time talking about customization, they spent a lot of time talking about netcode, and there's a bunch of things that's been repeated so often. I will be skipping those things in this video because it really gets repetitive after a while. Like, when you're talking about, like, let's say customization specifically, I see like 2 or 3 comments every single day saying how the customization needs to be better in Tekken 8. And if I'm seeing these comments, I can only imagine how many Harada's seeing. So I feel like some of these things goes without saying. Customization, game modes, better matchmaking, internet infrastructure, all of these things will be way better just because of how much people are complaining about it now. If you guys ever see videos on YouTube or something like that and you think I should make a reaction video or talk about it, be sure to leave a comment on one of my videos, or better yet, go to Twitter and @me, send the video to me, and I will probably see it and end up making a video, right? So with that being said, let's jump into this video.
Let's look at 10 things we don't want to see in Tekken 8 and why. Poor netcode. Over the past few years, the demand for rollback netcode has steadily grown among fighting game fans. Throughout all of this, producer Katsuhiro Harada revealed that Tekken 7 had rollback netcode. It's all well and good, but unfortunately the implementation leaves much to be desired. With Tekken 8, hopefully there are some improvements, if not a wholesale revamp.
And now I want to talk about this right off the bat. I think netcode is just a buzzword that the fighting game community has, created, and the developers, they talk about when they have nothing to talk about. I mean, Eris kind of said the same thing. It doesn't exist. Like, you can't tell if it's in the game or if it's not in the game. Rollback netcode is 100% in Tekken 7, but people still don't think it's in Tekken 7. Like, most people who say netcode don't even know what it is. And I stopped saying netcode. When I talk about Tekken 8 and how it needs to improve from Tekken 7, what I started saying is better matchmaking, better internet infrastructure. I think that's what people think netcode means. They think netcode means matchmaking and internet and load times, but it doesn't. Netcode is a very, very specific thing, and it really does not solve any problems that Tekken 7 have. If Tekken 7 had the best netcode ever, that wouldn't solve matchmaking, load times, cheaters, any of that stuff.
Tekken 7 style movement. There's a wide range of opinions on the movement in Tekken 7. Some like that you don't need to perform complex button inputs for backdashing. Others feel that the tracking on attacks is strong while sidestepping isn't as good as previous entries. You could interpret this as ideal for newcomers, or argue it as being bad for the overall game since throwing strings is more effective than using core movement techniques that have been in the series for decades.
What I like about Gaming Boat's video is they kind of say the same thing that I say. People don't understand that they reduced movement so players are able to hit other players easier. It reduces the skill gap in a sense. And I said it before, but 9 million copies sold. How many of those players are considered good players? I seen a poll the other day. It says, at what point are you good at the game? Blue or purple? This is when you're considered good at the game. First off, the majority of the players is in ruler, orange, yellow, and green ranks. And the thing about buffing movement, all of these players here would suffer by that. Movement was reduced so the yellow, orange, red ruler so they can hit you. If you're in anything other than blue or purple ranks, I hate to say it, but they reduced movement for you. And if they buff movement because you're repeating what the main man is saying, you're probably going to get destroyed by all of these people who know how to use it. I think it's a very odd thing in the Tekken community where people repeat what the pros say, but they might not understand why the pros is saying it. And that's the thing. I'm not even saying they shouldn't buff movement. I'm just saying you should understand what you're asking for. You're asking for movement to be buffed, but are you even using the movement that's in Tekken 7 right now? Because the movement in Tekken 7 right now is bad, but it's still effective. You see how people like Knee and these top players can make moves with, create spacing. Movement in Tekken 7 is bad, but are you even using it now to be asking for movement to be buffed? I want everyone right now, go look at your stats and what is your sidestepping. If your sidestepping isn't higher than a B, you should not be asking for movement to be buffed because you're not even using it.
Where backdash abuse isn't the only way to win at the highest level. Time will ultimately tell, but changes need to happen. Near endless combos. Combos are essential to fighting games, but what happens when they get a little too long and deal too much damage? Tekken 7 has combos that seemingly go on forever, taking opponents from 100 to 0 in short order due to their damage output. You could argue that mastering these combos is one of the major appeals of a fighting game, and titles like Guilty Gear Strive initially attracted flack for streamlining combos. It's a delicate balance where you want to reward skill but also ensure that things don't get too crazy.
Okay, this was actually a good point. Near endless combos. Now, I've been thinking a lot about combos in Tekken 7 and how everything went so wrong. And one of the reasons why I think combo damage, endless combos, however you want to phrase it, got so out of hand. One, everyone is masters at the game. Everyone knows their character and pretty much all the other characters to a certain extent. You may not know this specific move or this specific tech trap, but you understand the game fully. And I really don't think there's been a better, like as a whole, I don't think the community has had a better understanding of a Tekken game than they do Tekken 7. Tekken 7, everyone's a monster. Everyone's doing big combos. And I think it kind of just goes to speak to how, like, 7 years, constant buffing of characters, of course, everyone is going to maximize everything. The only thing I think they can do to stop this endless combos is to nerf characters. It's the only way. The Tekken community is too good at Tekken. And the only way to reduce all of these things is by changing the characters itself. Like in Tekken 8, one of my main wishes is that they don't buff and buff and buff and buff. That really hurt Tekken 7. And I think they should focus more so on balancing and not buffing.
Insane wall carry for all characters. Wall carry is a fighting game mechanic where certain moves or combos can push an opponent back into a wall, which could end in a wall splat. Of course, it's most effective in arenas with walls nearby. In Tekken 7, certain characters were better than others at wall carrying opponents, which helped distinguish them. However, somewhere along the way, wall carries got buffed to a ridiculous point. Even if Tekken 8 tones down the damage and length of its combos, wall carry should be tuned accordingly to avoid such situations.
I think 100% of the blame can be placed on the new moves. The new moves, the only thing they did to the game was increase combo damage and combo travel. And I think when they added those new moves into the game, it was poorly balanced. Just like 5.0. 5.0, when they added that into the game, the new tactics, the wall crush, that is so poorly balanced. It was the same thing for the new moves. I don't understand why this keeps happening. Like, that's the thing. For those of you who didn't play Tekken 7 when it first came out, you guys missed out. It was a totally different experience. The netcode, the online matchmaking, the infrastructure, load times, it wasn't perfect, but it was way faster. There wasn't that many cheaters. It just wasn't that bloated. The roster wasn't crazy insane. I missed those days when Tekken 7 first came out. That's why I'm looking forward to when Tekken 8 first comes out. After a year or two into Tekken 8's lifespan, who knows what's going to happen. There's probably going to be 4 new Leroy characters that's added in as DLC and new moves, and it might be a disaster. But when that game first comes out, it's going to be amazing, and I'm going to appreciate every second of it. That's one thing too. I hear people say a lot about having bigger stages, but correct me if I'm wrong, but the stages in Tekken 7 are like normal size. Like Tag Tournament 2, Tekken 6, those stages are like the same size almost. The issue is just how far combos has improved, I think, right? But yeah, that's pretty much it. I just want to talk about this. I know some instances I really went on a rant, but it's important. It's really important that we understand what happened to Tekken 7. If we really want Tekken 8 to be better, we have to fully understand what went wrong. And it's easy to see. It's easy to see. Every update, every season pass, you can what changed and what happened and how. Right, but that's it. I just want to talk about this. Thank you to Nam for telling me about this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching, and bye bye.